Good morning, class. Once again, ma'am is here with you to repeat verb only. Today, again, we are going to study verb. Why ma'am is picking the same topic again and again? Beta, verb is a very essential part of grammar. Even it is said the heart of grammar. Without understanding verb, you can't understand the speeches, the voices, the tenses in the grammar. Even when you speak a sentence, okay, and you don't use the correct form of verb, the correct form of tense, so you won't convey the means the your purpose of speaking that sentence is not fulfilled. This is very important to know what is verb, how to identify verb, and how to make the proper use of that verb. And that is why ma'am again and again pick the same topic for the sake to make your this part stronger. You all must be perfect in understanding the verb only then you would be able to learn the tenses, the speeches, the voices, and all that. Okay? Now, so let's start our class with verb. Now, what is verb? It a verb can be defined as doing words. Doing words means आप जो भी करते हैं. What do? You read, you learn, you study, you cram, you eat, you chew, you drink, swallow. The same manner you sleep, you awake, you yawn, you stretch. So whatever you do, आप जो भी काम करते हैं, that all are verb. The first thing, verb denotes the action. A part of that, verb or the words that show the state of the subject, state of the being. State of being is the words, such words are like be forms, is, am, are, was, were, do forms, your do, does, did, have forms, and your models can, could, would. So these all words show the state of being of the subject, the state of the subject. Okay, and they are also verb. So two things ma'am told you what are verb. In a sentence, you can very easily identify the word that is showing the action of your subject, and the word that is showing the state of your subject. That is your verb. Now, one more word is verb, and that is the word that shows the possession of the subject. So that is also your verb. So in the simplest form, we can say that a verb is a word that indicates action or a state of being or possession. Okay? Here on my screen, you can see that I have taken three sentences. Look at the first sentence, children. The juggler played with four balls. The juggler is my subject. Okay, what is this juggler doing? He played. He played with four balls. So played word is showing the action of my subject. Played word is showing that what is my subject doing. Okay, so this word played is showing the action. So it is a verb. So what is a verb? Verb is a word that indicates an action. Now the second sentence. Look at the second sentence. The box is full. Here my subject is the ball. The box, sorry. The box is my subject. Now, how is the box? The box is. So this is showing the state of my subject. What is? The box is. Right now it is. If I use was in the place of that, so my box was. It was. So is, was, were, are, will be, shall be. These words are verb and they show the state of being of my subject. Clear? Now, look at the third sentence. This house has a beautiful lawn. Again, here in the sentence, my subject is this house. Now, what my house possesses? A beautiful lawn. My house possesses a beautiful lawn. So which word in the sentence is showing this possession? Has. Has is showing the possession of the house. Has is telling that my house possesses a beautiful lawn. So the words that show the possession are also verb. So the words like has, have, had, they are also the verbs. So when you read a sentence and you want to know what is verb in in that given sentence, so simply search out a word used for these three purposes. First, for action or the state of being or possession. If you find a word with these three purpose, use for these three purpose, so that word is your verb. Okay, now the verbs are basically of two types. Here on my screen you can see that the verbs can be divided into two classes, mainly the main verb and the helping verb. You must have heard this word used so many times by the teachers, the main verb and the helping verb. Okay, so further the main verbs are divided into transitive, intransitive and ditransitive, incomplete verbs also, and helping verbs are further divided into primary verbs and the modals. The primary verbs, you can see that again the primary verbs are three. What are the three primary verbs? That are your be form, your do form and your have form. And the modals, you know that can, could, should, would, dare to, have to, used to. Okay, they all are your models. So now let's study them one by one. Everybody please pay attention on the class, because it is very important to understand the verb. Without understanding verb better, you will find problem in solving the other parts of grammar also. Okay, now let's talk about the helping verb and main verb. As ma'am told you that verbs are mainly classified into two classes, the helping verb and main verb. So first of all, what is helping verb? Helping verb. The word is reflecting its meaning. Helping verb. The verb that takes help of the other verb to clear its meaning. That are helping verb. I repeat class, the verb that takes help, that is helping verb. It takes the help of other verb to clear its meaning. Like in the sentence, so basically, okay, takes the help of other verb. So mainly or the primary and modals. Your can, could, would, they are kept in helping verbs. And the primary verbs, I told you, be form, do form and have form. So they all, that your primary and models, they all need the help of another verb to make sense. And that is why they are called helping verb. Okay, here in the sentence, she is working hard for her job. My subject is she and my helping verb is. This is not complete in its meaning. It is not complete in its sense. That is why it is taking the help of working to clear its meaning in the sentence. Sometimes is works as a main verb also. I'm not saying that it is always helping verb. Like suppose if I say the day is hot. So here is used as main verb. But here the sentence that is given in the on your screen, that is she is working hard for her job. Here is used as helping verb, because working without this word working, it is not making complete sense. She is hard for her job. Do you understand what it means? No. When ma'am says she is working hard for her job, so as is has taken the help of working to make its meaning clear, so it is helping verb. Now look at the second sentence. The gardener had mowed the field. Now here had is my helping verb, because if I say the gardener had the field, then the had is my main verb, as it doesn't want the help of other word to clear its sense. But here mode word is used, mode verb is used to clear the meaning of the sentence in a better way. So had is my helping verb and mode is my main verb here. Now, a part of that, as I told you, the helping verb includes the modals also, like can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must, ought to, dare to, have to, okay, need to. These all are the other modals. Now, let's come to the main verb. What is main verb? Main verbs, as again the meaning is told by the word itself. Main verb, the verb that is principle of the sentence, or whether you can say the verbs that have their meaning itself, they are main verb. Or the verb that helps, helping verb in making complete sense, are the main verb. Now let's try to understand with the help of the given sentence. He has compiled his work. Here, compiled is my main verb, and has is my helping verb. Why compiled is main verb? Because it is helping has to clear its meaning. Even compiled has its own meaning. If I say compile your work, so the listener can very easily understand what is said. But if I say has what? It has no meaning. You can't understand what is told to you to do. Okay? So main verbs have their meaning, while the helping verb, they don't have their meaning. Not miss, they have the meaning, but they don't make complete sense. Alone, they are senseless. They don't have any meaning. When they stand with the main verb, when the helping verb stands with the main verb, only then they make meaning. Okay, now look at the second sentence. These days, I am revising my course. So here, revising is your main verb. Why? If I say revise, so revise has a meaning. You start reading out your content, your matters. Okay, but if I say am, so you don't know what to do. So am is your helping verb, as it is not making complete sense. But main verb, they have a meaning. We can meet tomorrow. Here again, can is your helping verb and meet is your main verb. So the most important thing that you have to keep remember in the case of helping verb and main verb is that helping verb, they don't make complete sense, and they take the help of main verb with them, while the main verb, they have their meaning. Okay, now let's come to the types of main verbs. What are the different types of main verb? Children. So mainly the main verbs can be divided into three classes: transitive verbs, ditransitive verbs, and intransitive verbs. Here it is mentioned that the transitive verbs are the verbs that take objects. Ditransitive verbs are the verbs that take two objects. And intransitive verbs are the verbs that doesn't take object. The verb not taking object is intransitive verb. And as here we are talking about the main verbs, so whenever ma'am is talking about transitive, ditransitive, or intransitive, so I am talking about the main verb. Means the main verb taking object is transitive. The main verb taking two objects is ditransitive, and the main verb taking no object is intransitive. So first of all, this is important to understand what is object. When once I understand what is objects, it would be easier to understand transitive, ditransitive, and intransitive. Okay, class. So what is object? What is object? If we frame a question using the verb and the word what or whom, the word that answers the question is the object of the verb. Very simple. In the given sentence, to the main verb, I'm talking about the main verb, not the helping verb. The main verb, you have to ask two questions. What are these two questions? The first question you ask with what, and the second question you ask with whom. And if you get the answer, so that answer is your object. Here it is written, Yuvraj caught the ball. So what is main verb? Caught. Ask the question, caught what? I am allowed to ask the question with two words only. What or whom? No other WH word, no other questionable word. Okay? And if you get the answer only, then that answer is your object. So I asked a question to my main verb. Caught what? The answer is ball. Ball is object. Now, the patient needs medicine. Needs is my main verb. Now ask the question, what needs what? Got the answer? Medicine. So medicine is your object. So in the same manner, uh, when we ask a question to the main verb and I am getting my answer, so that verb is transitive or dry transitive. But if I am not getting the answer, then that verb is intransitive. So, after understanding the object, it is easy to understand the difference between transitive and intransitive. Transitive, what are transitive verbs? Taking object or not? Yes. Transitive verbs take object. And intransitive is opposite to transitive, not taking object. Clear? Now look at the example. Bob and Shelley are studying. Okay. Bob and Shelley are studying. My main verb is studying here. Now ask the question. Studying what? Did you get the answer? No. Now second question. Studying whom? Did you get the answer? No. So studying is intransitive verb here. Clear? Now look at the second sentence. You dished me. What is main verb? Dished. Ask the question. Dished what? Did you get the answer? No. Now second question. Dished whom? The answer is me. Got the answer? It is transitive verb. Only these two questions. Don't forget, I can ask the question with these two words only. What or who? Now, third sentence. Look at the third sentence. I gave my friends a smart watch. Okay. Now, gave is the main verb. And now start asking the question. Gave what? A smart watch. Got the answer. Again, ask the second question. To whom? Answer is my friends. So I got two answers. I asked two questions and got the two answers. This is ditransitive. Gave is ditransitive verb because it is taking two objects. Clear? Now, next, the bullet train runs fast. What is my main verb here? Runs. Okay. Now, ask the question. Runs what? Did you get the answer? The bullet train. You can say that, ma'am, the bullet train, but bullet train is my subject here as it is used before the main verb, while the objects are always the receiver of action. They are used after. Keep this thing also, remember, children. The noun used before the verb is subject and after the verb is object. So runs what? And I want to know the object here. So when I ask the question runs what? No answer. Now runs whom? No answer. Okay, because fast is not the answer of what and whom. Okay, fast is telling the manner, how. It is the answer of how. So runs is my intransitive verb. Clear? Now here once again the ditransitive, as I told you, ditransitive take two objects. So two objects, when it is taking two objects, so the first object is called direct object and the second object is called indirect object. Clear? Now, so let's again ask the question to my main verb, and if I am getting all two answers, so that verb is ditransitive. So it's, what is ditransitive? A ditransitive verb is the one that takes both a direct object and an indirect object. Don't forget, the first answer is your direct object and the second answer, whom, is your indirect object. Seema gave. Gave what? The letter. So the letter is my direct object. To whom? Her. Got the answer? Indirect object. Now look at the second sentence. They gave the church money. Gave is my main verb. Gave what? Money. Money is your direct object. To whom? The church. So the church is your indirect object. Now look at the third sentence. He sent. Now ask the question to send. You yourself ask. Sent. Sent. What will be the first question and I ask for? Sent what? And our answer is the gift. So the gift is my direct object. Now to whom? His dad. So his dad is your indirect object. So as you can see that in all the sentences, the main verb is taking two objects. So it is ditransitive verb. Okay. A part of that verb is of two types. Again, we can divide it into two types, that is finite verb and non-finite verb. So what are finite verbs? Beta, finite verbs are the verbs that change their form when there is a change in the number of person of the subject or the tense. And non-finites are the verbs that don't change their form even when the number of subject or the tense change. Now, what is this? Number of when the number of person or subject change. In simple language, I can say that finite verbs are the verbs that change when there is a change in subject or tense, while the non-finites are the verb that don't change when there is a change in subject and tense. Change in subject means when the subject becomes singular or plural. When you do such changes and your verb is changing, so that is finite verb. When you change in tense means when you convert it from present to past or past to future, or when you go for simple to continuous or continuous to perfect. So while making such changes in the tense, the verb in the sentence is affected. So that is your finite verb. And the one that is not affected, that stays as it is. That is non-finite verb. Look at here in the sentences. It is written, they they want to eat something delicious. Okay. Here the sentence has two verbs, want and eat. Can you see that? The sentence has two verbs, want and eat. In the first sentence, they. They is my subject and it is plural subject. Clear? Now look at the second sentence. She wants to eat something delicious. Now my subject became singular, she. And now look at the next two verbs that were used in the sentence, want and eat. Want became wants. while eat is eat. There is no change in eat, while wants became wants with a change in the number of subject. When my subject became singular, it became wants. So wants is my finite verb, while eat is non-finite verb. Now same as, look at the third sentence. They wanted to eat something delicious. Here I have made a change in the tense. From present I switch to past. Okay. So when the tense has changed, so wants became wanted, while eat is still eat. There is no change in that. So want is my finite verb, while the eat is non-finite verb. And look at the third sentence. Now here past to past, but the change has been made in the number of subject. They, they became singular. He. So again, he wanted to eat something. As it is in past tense, so the verb has not changed, but uh, when we work in a simple present tense or past tense, so this verb changes. So here it is finite. Okay. Now let's come to the three types of non-finite verb. The non-finite verbs are of three types, children: infinitive, participle, and gerund. Okay, so what are infinitive? The infinitive forms of the verbs are the verb in which the verb is preceded by to. Means when the present form of the verb is preceded by the preposition to. So that kind of verb is called infinitive. Here you can see that I hope to see you soon. Okay, I hope to see you soon. So here this see is non-finite, because if I make a change in the tense, so see will stay as see. Like I hoped, I have changed the tense. From present, I'm going to convert it into past. I hoped to see you soon. So hope became hoped in past tense, but see is going to stay as see only. So see is my non-finite verb. Now, as here the that root form of the verb is used and it is preceded by to preposition, so it is infinitive. Now look at the second sentence. We will have to make hurry to catch the train. Here this sentence has two infinitives. One is to make and the second is to catch. Okay. Now, a part of that, there are some bare infinitives also. Bare infinitives mean the infinitives that don't take to before it. They are not preceded by to. Okay, like these such infinitives are had, better, would, rather, bid, let, make, dare. There's a long list of such verbs. Some of the basic ones you have to cram. Okay, children? Now, the second type of non-finite is participle. Participle is a word which is partly verb and partly an adjective. In simple language, children, you try to understand it in this way. Like as you are a person. When you stand with your mother, so you are her son. When you stand with your sister, you are your sister's brother. When you stand with me, so you are my student. Same as when you stand with your friend, so you are your friend's friend. So you are single person, but your identification is the work you do, is the place you are doing your work. According to that you are identified the same manner when the verb behaves like an adjective, so that is called participle. So here the participles are mainly of three types. Present participle, that is the ing form of verb. Past participle, that is that takes ed, d, or that you form in making the past and past participle forms of the tenses. And perfect participle is that takes having or having been before the past participle form. Okay, mainly it is used in passive voice. Okay, here in the example, in the first sentence, you can see that yesterday I read an interesting novel. interesting novel. Novel is noun. Interesting is telling the quality, so it is adjective, while interesting is a verb. Okay, and here it is behaving or working, doing the work of an adjective, so it is participle. Same as the injured people were taken to the hospital. People is my noun, and what is the quality of this noun? Injured. Ed form, so it is past participle. Now, having finished my lesson, I went to bed. So having finished is your perfect participle. Now let's come to the third type of non-finite, and that is gerund. As a verb, when a verb works like an adjective is called participle. In the same manner, when a verb works, does the work of a noun, is called gerund. It is partly noun and partly verb. Like walking is a good exercise. Here, walking is my subject, so we know that subject and objects are always nouns. So walking is my gerund. Now give up at smoking. Smoking is the object here. Again, it's a noun. So smoking is gerund. Now partings are always sad. Parting is my subject. It's a verb, but doing the work of a noun. So it is a gerund. So you can very easily differentiate between the participle and gerund. Gerunds are the verb that behave like noun, while the participles are the verbs that behave like adjectives. That's all for today's class, children. Don't forget to solve the exercises in the book. Even maximum of the exercises we have solved, and the one which were asked to solve in your that notebook that I have already forwarded you in the PDFs in the before in the previous classes. Okay, so keep your work updated. That's all for today's class. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.